There is a power within you, a force so ancient, so profound, it has been whispered about for millennia, hidden in the shadows of forgotten temples and buried beneath the weight of civilization's distractions. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking this hidden power lies not in some far-off mystical realm, but deep within the fabric of your own being? What if the answer to the greatest mystery of existence, the secret to true enlightenment, is already inside you, waiting to be revealed? This is not a question to be answered lightly. It is a challenge, a call to awaken to a forgotten truth that has been buried by time, fear, and ignorance. The knowledge we are about to explore transcends centuries of spiritual practice, offering you a glimpse into the very heart of reality itself, a knowledge so old, it could have been passed down from the gods themselves. Today, we will uncover the ancient wisdom of the inner alchemy, the secret art of transforming the soul and mind to achieve divine harmony and enlightenment. This practice, guarded for centuries by secret societies and mystics, is not just a metaphysical concept. It is a blueprint for human transformation. From the sacred temples of Egypt to the halls of Hermetic philosophers, inner alchemy has guided the greatest minds throughout history, but its deepest secrets remain obscured, waiting to be unlocked. In this journey, we will explore not just the origins of this esoteric science, but how it speaks to you in the present moment, how it offers profound wisdom to navigate the chaos of modern life. Through the principles of inner alchemy, you can learn to transmute the base elements of your mind and spirit into the highest form of self-realization. But be warned, this path is not for the faint of heart. It will ask of you not just your time, but your very perception of reality. Are you ready to step beyond the veil and embrace the truth that lies hidden within? In the following chapters, we will uncover the history, philosophy, and transformative practices that will guide you on this path. We will journey through the mysteries of ancient civilizations, explore the forgotten teachings of spiritual masters, and ultimately reveal the steps you must take to unlock your highest potential. This is no ordinary exploration. This is an invitation to unlock the secrets of the cosmos, to reclaim your sovereignty, and to awaken the divine power that resides within you. To truly understand the practice of inner alchemy, we must first journey backward in time, beyond the veil of modernity, and peer into the ancient civilizations that carried this wisdom like a sacred flame, passed down through the ages. For this knowledge was not born of recent thought, but emerged from the depths of humanity's spiritual and intellectual evolution, forged in the crucibles of forgotten temples and veiled mysteries. Its origins can be traced back to civilizations whose understanding of the cosmos and the human soul far surpassed anything we can comprehend today. Let us begin with the Egyptians, the architects of a mystical tradition that laid the foundations for what would later be known as alchemy. In the shadow of the Great Pyramids, the Egyptian priests guarded secrets that were said to bridge the worlds of the material and the divine. The Hermetic texts, attributed to the legendary figure Hermes Trismegistus, speak of the art of transformation, not of base metals, but of the very essence of the human soul. These texts, blending Egyptian mysticism with Greek philosophy, presented a worldview where the universe was a living entity, a reflection of divine principles. The Egyptians understood that the journey of transformation was not an external one, but an internal process of spiritual refinement. As above, so below, they declared, a profound statement that illuminated the interconnectedness of all things. This phrase encapsulates the essence of inner alchemy, the idea that by mastering the inner world, one could influence the outer world, and thus achieve a state of balance with the divine. In parallel, the Greeks brought forth their own understanding of transformation, drawing from Egyptian knowledge, but also infusing their philosophical wisdom. Figures like Pythagoras, Plato, and Aristotle all espoused theories of the soul's evolution. They saw the human being as a microcosm of the larger universe, believing that through discipline and philosophical inquiry, the soul could ascend to higher states of consciousness. The concept of purification and transmutation was key. For them, Inner alchemy was not merely a mystical practice, but a way of living, a daily striving toward wisdom, virtue, and divine union. In this philosophy, the soul was seen as being made up of different elements: earth, water, fire, and air. And it was through the transmutation of these elements within the soul that one could attain the ultimate goal, gnosis, or divine knowledge. But these ancient teachings were not meant for the masses. Throughout history, such profound knowledge was kept hidden in the shadows, concealed from public view. It was reserved for the initiates, those who were willing to undergo rigorous trials, to strip away the layers of ignorance and delusion. The teachings of inner alchemy were often veiled in symbolism, encoded in sacred geometry, and imparted only to those who had prepared their hearts and minds for such revelations. This secrecy was not due to a desire for control, but a recognition of the potential dangers of such knowledge in the hands of the unprepared. To transform the soul was to tap into forces both sublime and perilous. Without proper guidance, one could easily be lost in the process, consumed by the very forces they sought to control. As centuries passed, the flame of inner alchemy was carried forward by secret societies and mystical traditions. In medieval Europe, alchemy evolved into the study of the transmutation of metals, but at its core, it retained the ancient knowledge of inner transformation. Think of the Rosicrucians, the Knights Templar, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, groups who, despite their secrecy, preserved and transmitted the ancient teachings of spiritual and psychological transmutation. Even the famous alchemist Nicholas Flamel, whose name has been immortalized in popular culture, was thought to have unlocked the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone, a symbol not just of material wealth, but of spiritual enlightenment and immortality. Yet, despite centuries of preservation, much of this knowledge has remained hidden in plain sight, fragmented and misunderstood. The esoteric teachings of inner alchemy were often obscured by dogma, superstition, and the rise of more materialistic worldviews. Over time, the true essence of these teachings was diluted, and the practice of alchemy became largely associated with the pursuit of gold, while its spiritual underpinnings were forgotten. But the core truth remained. The transformation of the soul was the key to accessing higher wisdom, and the key to this transformation lay within. Alchemy was never about turning lead into gold. It was about turning the lead of the unrefined soul into the gold of divine enlightenment. As we explore the heart of this ancient art, it becomes clear that inner alchemy is not just a practice for the initiated few of antiquity, but a path that can be walked by anyone who dares to seek the deeper truth of existence. In fact, perhaps now, more than ever, this wisdom is needed to help us navigate the confusion and disconnection of our modern world. But what exactly is this process of transformation? What are the secrets that have been hidden from us for so long? To answer these questions, we must turn inward, back to the core of what it means to be human. We must now explore the core concepts of inner alchemy, revealing not just the theory, but the very practical steps that can guide us to our own spiritual ascension. At the heart of inner alchemy lies the concept of transformation, the art of transmuting the base elements of our psyche into a higher state of consciousness. This is not just a metaphorical process. It is the true meaning of alchemy, the sacred science of the soul. But before we begin our journey through this mystical realm, it is important to first understand the basic elements that are at play, the foundational components of our being that must undergo transformation in order for us to attain the golden state of spiritual enlightenment. At the core of alchemical transformation is the Prima Materia, the raw substance from which everything is made. In the alchemical tradition, this is often symbolized as a chaotic, formless substance, a reflection of the untamed and unrefined aspects of the human soul. It is the state of being before we have gained self-awareness or understanding. It is the state of ignorance, of automatic reaction, of an undisciplined mind. The Prima Materia represents the base, unrefined self that most people operate from, unaware of the immense potential within them. But within this raw, chaotic substance lies the seed of transformation, the possibility of achieving something greater. Just as a lump of coal contains the potential to become a brilliant diamond, so too does the human soul contain the potential for enlightenment. The alchemical process begins with the recognition of this potential and the desire to bring it into reality. The first step in the journey of inner alchemy is the calcination, the burning away of impurities, the destruction of the ego, the breaking down of the false self. This is not a physical fire, but a spiritual one. It is the fire of self-awareness that scorches the illusions we hold about ourselves and the world around us. This process is painful, for it forces us to confront our deepest fears, attachments, and limitations. But it is also necessary for growth. The calcination represents the shattering of the ego's false sense of control and its resistance to change. Consider, for a moment, the symbolism of fire. Fire has the power to destroy, yes, but it also has the power to purify and create anew. In alchemical traditions, fire is the transformative agent that consumes the impurities of the material world, reducing them to their purest essence. Similarly, in the process of self-transformation, we must allow ourselves to be burned by the truth, to face the uncomfortable reality of who we are, without the comforting lies that we often cling to. The ego must be burned away to reveal the soul beneath, untouched and untainted. As the calcination progresses, we move to the next stage of transformation, dissolution. In this phase, the alchemist dissolves the hardened elements of the self, the rigid patterns of thinking, the stagnant emotions, the false identities we have built over the years. This is the process of letting go, of surrendering to the flow of life. Dissolution is a breaking down of the boundaries we have placed between ourselves and the divine. It is a spiritual surrender that allows us to experience the oneness of all things, recognizing that the boundaries between the self and the universe are illusory. Dissolution is akin to the metaphor of water, fluid, formless, and capable of flowing around obstacles. It is the state of letting go of the need to control, of allowing life to move through us without resistance. In this state, we allow ourselves to experience the emptiness that is often feared in the modern world, yet which is at the heart of every spiritual tradition. Emptiness is not a void, but a space of potential. Just as water can take on the shape of any vessel, so too can the soul in a state of dissolution be shaped by the divine. But the alchemical process is not a passive one. It is not enough to simply surrender to the flow of life. One must actively cultivate the philosopher's stone, the mythical substance that can transmute base metals into gold. The philosopher's stone is the symbol of enlightenment, the realization of the divinity within us. It is a subtle process, requiring both time and effort. The work of transformation is not done in a single moment of insight, but through repeated cycles of burning away impurities and dissolving the ego's false self-identity. Throughout these stages, the alchemist must also engage in contemplation and meditation, tools that allow us to sharpen our awareness and begin to see through the veils of illusion. By practicing mindfulness, we begin to recognize the subtle energies within us, the deeper layers of consciousness that are often obscured by the noise of everyday life. In these quiet moments of reflection, the alchemist can begin to hear the whispers of their higher self, guiding them toward greater wisdom and clarity. In the context of inner alchemy, this process of transformation is deeply personal. There is no single path that applies to everyone. Each individual must undertake their own journey, guided by their unique circumstances, desires, and fears. However, there are universal truths and methods that can serve as beacons along the way. The stages of calcination and dissolution must eventually give way to the next phase, that of conjunction, where the purified elements of the self come together in a new, harmonious alignment. It is here that the alchemist finds union with the divine, when all the fragmented parts of the soul are reintegrated into a unified whole. And yet, even as the process of alchemical transformation unfolds, it is important to remember that this is a journey without a final destination. The very nature of inner alchemy is cyclical. Each phase feeds into the next, and as you reach higher states of consciousness, new layers of the self are revealed, requiring yet another cycle of transformation. This never-ending process of refinement, integration, and transcendence is the path of the mystic, the seeker, the one who dares to walk the path of the inner flame. As we venture further into the depths of inner alchemy, we encounter the profound mysteries that lie beneath its surface, the paradoxes, the contradictions, and the hidden meanings that are essential to understanding the true nature of spiritual transformation. It is here, in this shadowed space, where the alchemist learns to navigate the unknown and grasp the subtle forces that govern the universe. At the heart of alchemy lies a core paradox the alchemist must destroy in order to create. This is not merely a physical act, but a deeply spiritual truth. In the process of self-transformation, the ego must be dissolved, the false self must be burned away, in order to make space for something higher, something divine. Yet, this destruction is not an annihilation, but a restructuring of consciousness. Just as the breaking down of a building allows for a new structure to emerge, so too does the burning away of the ego make room for the soul's true form to emerge. But this process is not without its challenges. One of the greatest misconceptions about alchemical work is the belief that enlightenment is a linear, straightforward path. People often think that spiritual growth is simply a matter of achieving certain milestones or experiencing certain moments of clarity. But the truth is far more elusive and complex. Inner alchemy, much like the act of spiritual dissolution, often feels chaotic, disorienting, and at times, downright painful. The process of transformation forces us to confront not just our weaknesses, but also our attachments to old patterns and ways of thinking. Consider the metaphor of the phoenix, the mythical bird that burns to ashes and rises again from the flame. This powerful symbol represents the cyclical nature of transformation, the continuous process of shedding the old to make way for the new. But what is often overlooked in the story of the phoenix is that it must experience a moment of total collapse, a complete and utter surrender to the fire before it can rise anew. This is where many seekers falter. They resist the fires of change, clinging to the past, to old identities, to familiar ways of thinking and being. But without fully embracing this descent into chaos, the soul cannot emerge into its highest form. The true work of inner alchemy involves learning to surrender to this chaos, to allow it to flow through you, not with resistance, but with trust. It is an act of faith, the faith that something greater than the ego is at work, something vast, ancient, and transcendent. This is the paradox. The more we let go of the small self, the more we allow the larger self to emerge. The moment we stop trying to control our spiritual path, the moment we surrender to the mysteries of the universe, is the moment when true growth begins. In this journey, there is also a hidden truth about the nature of the self. In alchemical teachings, the soul is often depicted as a mirror, a reflection of the divine. But this reflection is distorted by the impurities and illusions that cloud our vision. In order to see the true self, we must polish the mirror of the soul through purification, contemplation, and inner work. It is only when the mirror is clear that we can witness the full brilliance of the divine within. There is a deeper philosophical underpinning here that we must explore: the concept of unity. Alchemical traditions across cultures, whether in ancient Egypt, China, or the Western mystery schools, point to the same core truth. All things are connected. All things are one. The alchemical process is not merely about transforming the individual. It is about recognizing that transformation at every level of existence. Just as the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, so too does the individual reflect the universe. The journey inward is not just a path toward personal enlightenment. It is a way of reconnecting with the universal consciousness, the source from which all things emerge. As we deepen our understanding of this unity, we encounter another key concept: the law of correspondence. In alchemy, this law is often expressed as above, so below, as within, so without. This means that the patterns of the cosmos are mirrored in the patterns of the soul. The alchemist, through their inner work, can change their own consciousness, and in turn, influence the external world. This is where the true power of alchemy lies, not just in the transmutation of base metals into gold, but in the transmutation of the inner world into a state of divine harmony, which can then affect the outer world. This principle suggests that everything we experience in the external world is a reflection of our internal state. The challenges we face, the people we encounter, the circumstances of our lives, all of these are mirrors of our own inner landscape. When we begin to see this, we realize that the key to changing our outer reality lies in changing our inner one. By transmuting our own limitations, our fears, and our unresolved emotions, we begin to shift the world around us, creating a reality that is more in alignment with our divine essence. But even as we grow in awareness, even as we work to purify ourselves and align with the divine, we must confront another fundamental paradox. The alchemist is both the student and the teacher. This is a role that is at once humbling and empowering. On the one hand, the alchemist must remain a student of life, always learning, always evolving. On the other hand, the alchemist is also called to share the wisdom they have gained with others, to be a guide for those who are still walking the path. In this way, inner alchemy is not a solitary pursuit. It is a path of service, a path of love and compassion. The more we transform ourselves, the more we recognize our interconnectedness with all beings, and the more we are compelled to help others awaken to their own divine potential. It is through this act of sharing knowledge, wisdom, and light that the alchemist reaches their highest form, the realization that we are all part of the same grand, cosmic dance. At this point, the deeper layers of inner alchemy have been revealed, but the journey is far from over. In the final part of our exploration, we will focus on how these esoteric teachings can be applied practically in the modern world, how you too can begin to transform your life through the sacred art of alchemy. Now that we have unveiled the hidden truths of inner alchemy, it's time to bring this ancient wisdom into our daily lives. The great mystery is not simply to understand these teachings, but to live them, to embody them in our thoughts, actions, and intentions. This is where the alchemist's journey becomes a lived experience, and where true transformation takes place. The first key practice in applying the principles of alchemy is meditative introspection. The alchemist must learn to turn inward, to observe the self with clarity and detachment. The meditative process allows you to confront the ego, the false self that stands between you and your true essence. It is through deep meditation that we can begin to dissolve the illusions that obscure our vision. Start by setting aside time each day to sit in stillness, to quiet the mind. Imagine you are standing before a clear, pristine mirror. This is your soul, untainted by the layers of illusion that cloud your vision. As you sit in meditation, gently ask yourself, what illusions am I holding on to? What parts of my identity no longer serve me? Allow whatever arises in your mind to surface, without judgment or resistance. Let these thoughts dissolve, and in their place, cultivate a sense of inner peace. Another powerful practice is the ritual of purification, which is central to the alchemical process. Just as metals are purified in a crucible, so too must we purify ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. Purification rituals help to clear energetic blockages, to release negative patterns, and to reconnect with the divine flow of life. One simple but potent purification ritual involves the use of sacred herbs or incense. The ancient Egyptians, for example, burned frankincense and myrrh in their temples, believing these sacred resins could purify the air and elevate the spirit. You can use this practice by lighting a candle and incense in a quiet space. As the smoke rises, visualize the smoke carrying away the negative energies and distractions of your day, leaving you clear and open to higher wisdom. Another aspect of purification is journaling. Writing is an act of creation, an alchemical process in itself, where words transform thoughts into something tangible. Take time each day to reflect on your inner world through journaling. Ask yourself profound questions like, What is blocking my spiritual growth? Or what attachments am I ready to release? This will allow you to uncover unconscious patterns and create a conscious space for transformation. As you begin to dissolve the old and purify your inner being, you will naturally encounter moments of spiritual crisis, times when the ego resists and seeks to regain control. This is to be expected. The descent into chaos that we spoke of earlier is a necessary part of the alchemical process. When you face these challenges, remind yourself that they are not setbacks, but rather moments of powerful transmutation. They are the fire that will transform you, the crucible in which your soul is being forged. During these challenging times, use the tool of visualization. See yourself standing strong in the midst of a storm, watching as the chaos whirls around you, yet feeling a profound sense of inner peace. Visualize the chaos as an energy that passes through you, transmuting your fears, your doubts, your limitations into a pure light. This simple exercise helps to align your consciousness with the divine flow of life, showing you that no matter how turbulent the external world may become, your inner world remains calm and untouched by the storms. Now, let us turn to a more advanced practice, the integration of the law of correspondence into your daily life. Remember, this ancient principle teaches that the inner and outer worlds are reflections of one another. To align with this truth, you must begin to see your external circumstances as mirrors of your internal state. For example, if you are experiencing conflict in your relationships, this may be a reflection of unresolved inner conflict or a misalignment with your true self. Begin to ask yourself, what within me is creating this external circumstance? Instead of blaming others or feeling victimized, take responsibility for the energy you are projecting into the world. This does not mean that you must accept negative behavior from others, but it does mean that you hold the power to change the energy you are sending out into the world. By changing your internal state, you can shift your external reality. Another practice to embrace is daily affirmations and mantras. These are words of power, vibrational sounds that influence your consciousness. In the tradition of alchemy, words are seen as a means of shaping reality, as symbols of transformation. Choose a mantra that resonates with your current spiritual needs. For example, if you are working on releasing fear and embracing courage, repeat the mantra, I am fearlessly aligned with my divine purpose. Speak this mantra each morning as you meditate, visualizing the energy of the words entering your being, creating the inner transformation needed for your outer transformation. Let's also explore the role of the inner teacher. The alchemist must learn to listen to the voice of the higher self, that divine spark that guides us on our journey. To do this, practice deep listening. Set aside moments each day to quiet the mind and listen, not to the chattering of thoughts, but to the subtle whispers of your soul. This may come in the form of intuition, a sudden insight, or even dreams. Trust that the wisdom you need is already within you, and when you are attuned to it, it will guide you. Finally, remember that service to others is the ultimate culmination of alchemical work. The more you transform, the more you will be called to share that transformation with the world. Service is not about sacrificing yourself, but rather about offering your gifts to help others awaken to their own divine potential. By serving others, you are in turn serving the greater cosmic purpose of unity and interconnectedness. The more you give, the more you receive. For in the alchemical process, nothing is truly separate. All is part of the whole. Through these practices, you can begin to apply the timeless wisdom of inner alchemy to your modern life. By engaging in the alchemical work of purification, inner transmutation, and spiritual service, you step into your true power, unlocking the secrets of the universe within you. As we reach the end of this journey through the mysteries of inner alchemy, we are reminded that we are not simply students of this ancient art. We are co-creators of our own transformation. The principles we have explored are not abstract ideas confined to the pages of ancient texts, but living truths that are available to each of us, here and now. The alchemical process is the key to unlocking the hidden potential within, to transmute the ordinary into the extraordinary, and to transform base materials, be they thoughts, emotions, or actions, into pure gold. We began by diving into the heart of this ancient wisdom, the idea that everything in existence is in a constant state of transformation. And just as metals pass through fire to become refined, so too must we pass through our personal crucibles of trial, purification, and inner fire to awaken our highest selves. We are alchemists of our own lives, wielding the tools of meditation, purification, and visualization to reshape our destiny. But as we have seen, this is not a path for the faint of heart. It requires courage to confront the shadow within, to release old patterns and attachments, and to trust in the divine process of transformation. It asks us to step into the unknown, to embrace the chaos and the discomfort, knowing that it is in these moments that the deepest transmutations occur. In the end, inner alchemy is not about achieving perfection. It is about embracing the sacred process of becoming. Each moment is an opportunity to refine, to grow, and to move closer to the divine essence within us all. By applying these principles, we begin to recognize the profound truth. We are the philosopher's stone, the alchemist, and the gold itself. As you step forward into your own life, remember that every choice, every thought, every action is part of the alchemical process. You are constantly being forged in the fires of transformation. And as you continue your journey, carry with you the understanding that you are connected to something far greater than yourself, an eternal flow of wisdom, energy, and light that has been passed down through the ages. So, I leave you with a question. What will you transmute today? What aspects of your life are calling for transformation? Take the tools we've explored and apply them to your own alchemical journey. Remember, the power to transform lies within you. If this exploration has sparked something deep within you, I invite you to share your thoughts, your experiences, and your questions in the comments below. Together, let us continue this sacred journey of inner alchemy, for we are all part of this grand mystery, one that is unfolding, one step at a time. And if you seek further wisdom, don't forget to subscribe, for this is only the beginning. The secrets of the universe are vast, and together, we will continue to uncover them, piece by piece, transformation by transformation. Until we meet again on this mystical path, may your journey be filled with light, love, and alchemical grace.